We felt it's not worth defending the country if we do things that go against the values of this country. Mm-hmm. And there were two use cases that we were uncomfortable with, that we felt went against the values of this country. And that was fully autonomous weapons. So you could imagine like a drone army that, one person has their finger on the button and you don't have human soldiers. You have a drone army and you have AI powering this. And then domestic mass surveillance, which is, spying, using the power of the government to spy on Americans. And we thought those were pretty reasonable things not to allow. Unfortunately, the Pentagon didn't feel that way. And so we just couldn't agree to that. All the other companies have agreed to that now, but we all met as co-founders. We said, holy, this could be really bad for the company, but we can't do this, right?
And everybody agreed.
Everyone agreed. We had a meeting around a table like this, and we just said.
Was that a dark night of the soul kind of moment? What was everybody willing to stick to those principles, or did some people have to be convinced, or did you know going in that this is the end?
The co-founders believed this unanimously.
I think Dario and I and the co-founders, though, the thing that we all had in common was we just felt like this was the right thing to do.
You were willing for it to be the end of the company to stand up to your principles.
I think the reason we founded Anthropic was our commitment to our values and the ethics that we chose to incorporate with. And it felt like in the process of sacrificing those values, we wouldn't have been the company that we had started, if that makes sense. To Dario's point, we were actually the first AI company to work closely with national security because we felt that was in line and in keeping with our values, except in these two areas that we felt could have the potential to compromise democratic values.
It's so interesting because most people don't get a decision at that scale that they have to make, that they have to rely on their principles and their values, and you're literally risking a multi-billion-dollar company. But it all goes back to how you were raised and how those principles were formed in you before you had a big decision like that.
What we talked about before we ever started the company. Would our past selves be proud of ourselves if we gave in here, if we compromised? That made the decision very clear, right?